One of the things I have against video games is video games can expand to consume the amount of time you allot to it. That can destroy you.
When I was a kid, I would sneak across this exact street to my neighbor's house with my Nintendo console, cords, games, controllers, everything. Why? Because my parents would give me max of 1 hour a day to play games, but if I could just get across the street unnoticed, I could game for hours.
Weirdly, if I wanted to spend all day just mindlessly watching movies or TV, that was totally fine.
So why not video games? Because my dad always said,
video games are an absolute waste of time.
Well, now that it's been 20 years, I started an experiment. 9 months ago, my dad agreed to play Dark Souls as his very first video game ever played live on stream for the entire internet to see.
Oh, baby.
Northern Undead Asylum.
Bruce is loose.
I'm in the asylum.
All right, so
I'm actually on my way to go see him to hold up my end of the deal for him agreeing to do all of this.
Because I'm basically United Healthcare with how I've monetized this senior citizen's suffering.
This was gonna be a test of game design, of my dad's patience, and the preconceived notions a lot of people have of the value of just a good video game.
What has happened since then was the greatest gaming playthrough in history, and has completely altered my dad's perception of video games, his views on internet culture, and even changed our relationship as father and son. Let me take you through his experience of Dark Souls as his very first video game ever played.
first question, how good were you at the game when you started playing?
Probably the better question is, how bad was I?
Those of you who remember the beginning of this playthrough, remember that this is the kind of high-octane gameplay that we were running for hours at the start.
Right, I hit that wall as hard as I can, it still doesn't go down. The most difficult thing at first was camera work. Figuring out how to get the camera to do what I wanted, because that camera directs where your character goes. And I remember directing the camera and it ending up hanging into a wall. And then I'd think I got it fixed and I'd bang into the exact same wall again.
But it was impressive if you were able to recognize that it even was the same wall again. Because most of the time it was just the same wall and you didn't know.
I hit them seconds apart, so it was pretty...
bing, 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 just ping, pong,
bong. Dang it, why isn't this working? I'm doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
We take it for granted how intuitive it feels to use this, because we've been, moving the character with this stick and looking with the camera with this stick since Halo.
But in 2000, before Halo was even released, Alien Resurrection came out using the exact same controller scheme, which GameSpot's review famously called completely unplayable because of the controls.
And I threw this man into an already difficult video game with a confusing controller scheme that he didn't even know existed.
This is what's called an Xbox controller.
Yeah, I recognize them.
You've seen me touch these before and use them. An X-boss of the game, moving and looking around.
Right.
These two sticks right there.
These two sticks right here.
Those are you put your thumbs there.
Put my thumbs there.
The one on the left,
One
that's
on the
going to handle the direction your character walks. He walks left, he walks right. But let's say you want to look around in the room. The right stick is going to handle, think of it like your character's head. You're looking.
You're panning to the left or to the
Panning
right.
to the left, panning to the right.
Up or down. You can look up your nose.
You can. So you heard that Dark Souls was a difficult game. I did not hide that from you. So what did you expect?
No, you didn't hide it from me. You kind of threw it in my face and said, "This is gonna make you into a man." That's what you basically said. So,
Good luck. Get him.
get him how? What weapon do I have?
You have a broken sword in your hand.
Where's my broken? Oh,
You just stand. No.
how do I attack? You didn't tell me.
Oh. What did you expect then when people said, oh, it's a difficult video game, what did you expect a difficult video game would be like? Why would it be difficult?
I thought Halo was a difficult video game because I could not maneuver at all. One thing I didn't expect was that I would need to have your intimate coaching as to where to go. I thought it would be a little more intuitive to know, oh, I turn right here or left, or I jump, or whatever. Again, using the controller, I eventually learned how to jump and how to roll and how to do those things. And some of them I used a lot, some of those features, and some of them I should have used a lot and just would forget about. I was struggling just to be able to play the game, not really play the game. Oh no.
How did it change as you went through your playthrough, how you interpreted difficulty? Because at the beginning, you were just difficulty as just like using the controller. But then for even people that know how to use the controller, they consider Dark Souls difficult. So did it change for you as you got more comfortable with the controls, what you considered why it was difficult?
Again, I had nothing to compare it with. Is lemon sour? If you've never tasted anything else, you go, no, it's not sour.
Oh, crap. We're alive. Oh. Well, for now. And now we're dead. It's crazy.
That's what I mean.
That's the way you started with Dark Souls. So now, like, literally, there's so many other games in the world that are so much less punishing than that game. So you're just kind of like, well, of course, I died and everything respawns and all my progress is gone. Like, of course.
I died. Yes, exactly. That is exactly. Oh, I don't spawn. And sometimes when I spawn, most of the time when I spawn, all those guys I just killed, guess what? Gotta do it again.
Do it again.
And I have to go back to where I started a while ago, and I have to fight my way back to where I was. Oh, hey. What?
Incredible.
You missed me the first time. Now, wait a minute. Is there no credit for anything before? No, none at all. Other
Just
than you've gained a little experience and you know how to do it maybe a little better.
Yep, exactly.
But, yeah. I didn't appreciate the difficulty of the game because, again, I had no frame of reference.
We living. It was incredible.
One of the things I really appreciate about it, in real life, when you die, it's over.
Yeah, you failed.
And there, when you die, you don't really die, you just lose. And so you get to respawn and try again. That is interesting because in the real world, if you try to do something and fail at it, which you do all the time, it's not that you die there, it's that you fail and you have to go back and try it again.
If you get that chance, a lot of times in life you fail and it's like, that was it, or the second attempt, maybe you don't, it's not as impactful if you do succeed. It's, it's refreshing, you're right, in the sense that when you die, it's like everything does reset. So it's all like, it's like it didn't even happen. Your mistakes are gone and you are the improvement that gets to go into the next attempt.
Yes. Now, hey, what the heck? Is that a treasure chest up there?
Yeah, a lot of people have asked me if I'm a bad son. And sometimes...
You needn't ask. You ask me.
Am I a bad son to you, Dad?
You're horrible.
Oh, well...
No, you're a wonderful son.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
About that.
What the heck?
What?
Now, towards the end...
I was going to ask you.
Towards the end, I was beginning to have expectations of myself.
Yep.
That I have gained some experience. I now know how to use the controller, and I now know how to roll or to jump or whatever. And I think, what a doofus! Why didn't you jump right then?
Yeah.
And so then I would punish your chair.
Yes, you did.
Oh. I should have swung at him. I whacked your chair, and that was me being frustrated, not at the game, at myself. And I'm sure that everybody else has that same thing. They get frustrated with themselves. They're not angry necessarily at the game.
Well,
but again, I have no frame of reference to say that.
Well, you don't realize that there's a very good strategy in gaming, which is where you just blame the game, and that's it. And that's all you do. And that's a very good way of protecting your psyche.
Any problem is the game's problem.
Exactly. In a lot of gaming, and especially in Souls type gaming, there's really like two camps of extremes. There's the get good camp. People are saying the reason you died is because you need to be better. Just play better. And then there's like the game sucks camp where it's like the reason I died is because the game is poorly designed. And the truth is very much in the middle.
Dark Souls speedrunning has had its fair share of legends. But what if I told you that the greatest speedrunner in gaming history finally picked up a controller like King Arthur pulling Excalibur from the stone? On his first playthrough, he's discovered numerous glitches to aid in his quest. Iron Golem grab cancel, one frame item duping to get one more heal than he should, even the Anorlando gravity glitch. This is how the world record for slowest Dark Souls speedrun was set.
So there was some emotional moments, highs and lows of the whole playthrough, but I'm glad that you stuck it out, and everybody is, because you got to experience why games can be so engrossing.
Oh yeah.
So for you, like when you had like major boss victories, like when you beat like that gaping dragon, or when you beat Gwyn, or you beat Ornstein and Smo, all these different bosses, can you go into detail like what that felt like to have like your first actual like boss win in a game?
You want to know that when I beat the dragons,
Yeah. Oh, the two bell gargoyles?
Yes, the gargoyles.
Yeah.
And I had that, whatever that
Solaire.
Solaire. I had to get some help.
Yeah.
And,
dude, I knew you would say
and
that.
Solaire came. And so when you made Solaire attack me and kind of forced me into killing him, I was going, yes, I'll have to do it on my own, which is what I always wanted to do to begin with.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting cocktail of emotions when I killed Solaire and I realized I wouldn't be able to call him up and help me with anything else. But then I get to do it myself, which is what I always did. Remember, on my career, I was a lone wolf out there.
Yeah.
I was out on an island, just me, most of the time, 90% of the time. So I got used to that.
So
I could always rely on me. I didn't like relying on someone else.
So you felt, would you agree that you prefer to play without the summons because it feels more rewarding that you pulled it off yourself?
And yes, actually, it does feel more rewarding because it's harder.
Yeah.
And when I endured difficulty, I feel a tremendous sense of accomplishment. You were saying, how does it feel? How does it feel? Well, it was so new. I was checking out the feeling.
Yeah.
But I was very elated and I felt like I had really accomplished something. Oh, where I am, I'm dead.
So to spam that heavy attack, because we're not hitting him, that's kind of part of the issue. Keeps hitting him, keep spamming that thing. And then block these. Yeah.
I got no more flasks.
See how that stops him? Keep it going. Keep it going. One more hit.
Got him!
Save the comeback! What? Are you kidding me?
Wait a minute.
Dude.
Did I beat him or what? Now, knew that I had accomplished something in the electronic world, and when I turned off the computer and walked out the door, nobody else knew what I had just done.
Right.
Except for the people that were doing chat wherever they are. And that's exciting to think that 700 people are watching me be a bozo out there.
Yeah.
But that was exciting, and it was very thrilling in a way that I have never experienced quite before.
Really? So
yes.
You haven't experienced that level of emotion in that capacity?
In that fashion, in that capacity. It was a different feeling than I'd felt.
Do you feel like you got better at the game as time went on?
Yes.
In what ways? Like, what was the things that you...
Well, I learned to... initially, I never really managed my health. I didn't manage my health.
I said I wasn't gonna...
Oh, I got my thumb on it right now. Oh my God. And then finally I started managing my health a little bit, and I would heal up, and then I would wonder why when I'm hitting him, I'm not doing any damage, and you're telling me it's because you don't have any stamina. I said, what do you mean? I'm fine. I'm hitting that
I'm
thing.
feeling fine here. My thumb's good.
And you said it's the green little bar, and I go, I got to look at that too.
Yep.
And it took me a while, and learning to manage the health and the stamina was one of the more difficult things. You asked me what was difficult. Those were difficult.
As we played through the game, did you like the fact that it was live, or did you come around to enjoying that there was a third component? Because there was you and me playing games, and then there was also people watching online. Did you take it or leave it, or did you come to enjoy the fact that there was this third character involved in the experience?
Oh, I thought it was really cool that people would want to watch me. I did. I would go home and tell my wife that, there were 300-400 people watching me, whatever it is I did.
Yep.
And I would often follow that up with a comment that says, I can't understand why they do that.
Why do they watch
But
this?
I'm getting a better feel for that.
And those were some of the next questions I actually wanted to ask you.
I was delighted when I finally started noticing that there were comments coming in.
The door.
Missed Ornstein and oh yeah, you really missed it, dude.
It was hype.
Spitfire. Yeah, it was awesome.
Look
Epic.
at that. Spitfire,
Epic even.
he read your chat and said your name. I don't think you've ever done that ever. Both of those things, he has never said, hey, Spitfire, good message. Like that was
I'd never
hype.
done it. You're right.
Well, when we started, there was like 5 people watching. Do you remember the max amount that we hit?
1,300 or something.
1,400 something. So I wanted to ask you, why do you think people found that so fascinating and still do, watching you and I chilling, watching, playing video games?
If you'll remember when we started this,
Yes, I do.
we
Verbally assaulted our followers
Yes,
many
I was like,
times.
what are you people doing? Go get a life. And that was a comment that I would make often, that you need to get a life. I understand that a little bit better. I still question the sanity of they who would want to watch some yahoo like me, who is going to fail. But then I realized that from what you're telling me, they went through the same thing.
Yes.
And they're living it again through me.
Like I was going to ask you, what if, let's say, one of your kids, one of my siblings, decided that they were going to play Dark Souls? Would you want to watch that experience? Want to watch them play it?
I tell you what, you've invited my wife to play Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And she will do whatever. And if I'm not here watching at the time, I would definitely watch that.
So has your opinion on online social interaction changed in any way from this experience? Just seeing also how wholesome the online community can be.
Yeah.
Everyone was very respectful.
They seem like reasonable people that have lives, and I have no problem with them following along. I'm happy that they're doing that. When I say that, I'm really exposing that my attitude has changed. I didn't say it quite like that, but it has changed. I understand how people are interested in the video games. I understand now how it can be something that you would enjoy doing. Just like when I was a kid, I'd watch TV, and this is your television.
I say it's much
more than
superior to it.
Oh yeah. It's far superior.
I think what you've learned, especially from this experience, is how engrossing and emotionally impactful and personally you're developing when you're playing a game. You're not just consuming content. Like a TV is a one-way street.
Right. You're not a consumer, you're a participant.
You're a participant, yeah.
Which is significantly different. Something I never had when I grew up.
Yeah, and you're a participant not only from a gameplay perspective, but you're also a participant from a community perspective. You can see that people can jump on a live stream and make friends there. You don't really notice because you're not looking at chat too much, but people are often talking to each other. They're not just talking at us.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be like, hey man, did you play this game? Oh yeah, I did. What was your favorite boss? And they'll kind of chat with each other, and that's how they meet like-minded individuals that enjoy the same kinds of games.
And you are interacting in a real-world sense. You're just not doing it in the same city,
same room, same city, right?
And that is different than what I expected.
That's the exact point.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So people online, you basically just kind of find people online that you agree with, or you think they're funny, you think they're interesting. And so when you know that they're going to play a game that you like, or even a game that maybe you wanted to see, but you don't want to play yourself because you don't want to spend the time or buy it.
Right.
So you're like, oh, great. You know, that guy that I watch online is playing the new, you know, Oblivion remake. I'm going to go watch him play it. And because his commentary is funny and I want to see his experience playing it. So in the very same way, I think that's why people watched you. And I think at the same time, even people that haven't played the game have watched it because I think it's just pretty wholesome, you know, father and son playing games.
Yeah. And I see the point of the father and son thing because that is why I did this. I didn't, if someone else off the street had asked me to do it, I would have declined.
Some crackhead
Yeah.
approaches you and he's like, come on in, buddy. I got Dark Souls.
Come play some Dark Souls, dude.
Bootleg Dark Souls.
Yeah, it'll be the best.
Yeah, I don't think you would play that. No.
If they'd have said it was the bomb, I would have started running thinking they had, you know, dynamite.
But what if you went into the tent and he had Dark Souls and there was also 1,400 people in there surrounding you, watching you play? Wouldn't that be even more fun?
That's essentially what happened, but I didn't have 2,800 eyeballs on me. They had 2,800 eyeballs on the screen that I was also watching.
Yeah.
Which is different. There's a layer in between.
True. Did you ever get nervous with having people watch you? No? You're a huge celebrity now, Dad.
I am.
Well, on YouTube, yeah, you got some people that watch it, that watch us. It's fun.
Yeah.
There was a moment where you had, and you specifically requested Mom sit with you while you fight a boss. Why did you do that, and why was it impactful to you to have her there while you were doing it?
I remember that. I wanted my wife to have some experience watching me do that. So I was very steeped in video games are avoidable distraction.
Yep.
And she's beyond me on that.
He's even deeper down the rabbit hole.
And so I wanted her, and I'd been spending a lot of time with this, so I wanted her to sit down and watch. That was the fourth one. And there's a fifth one somewhere, Aaron said.
No, that's it. That was it. You did it.
So I think you had a very similar motive that I did.
Yes.
Just kind of interesting.
Yes, and I thought of that later as Aaron.
Yeah.
He's me.
You're like, I'm spending a lot of time, but I'm experiencing a lot that's very meaningful to me, and it's intense, and I'm having all those experiences. It's been fun, and I don't like the idea that she might be thinking that I'm just wasted my time. You want her to see it. You're like, see, look how intense this is and how much I've learned. You want them to understand.
And it's not so how much I've learned. It's growth that your relationship with me has experienced, and with Angelica and with your wife. I mean, to me, family is the reason I do just about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my granddaughter, she's family, and all of my other kids, we spent yesterday afternoon with your sister and her husband. That's what we do. And this is all part of that. And I have the benefit that I've learned quite a bit about video games as a result. And I'm certainly okay with that.
Let's go. Gwyn, Lord of Cinder versus Dad, Lord of Giga.
What the heck?
It's going well.
Not either. Oh my gosh. Who is this?
Super Bowl. Oh!
Couldn't.
Hey, you got a hit on him. I do have 6. I'm the youngest. No! All the rolling in the world.
What happened?
He grabbed you.
Dang it! Oh, it's trying to.
Oh,
now he's got me.
Yes, Dad!
I did it! I got him!
Dude,
Oh,
you did it.
how did that happen?
You whacked him.
When you got to the end of the game and it was you against the final boss and there was struggling going on and there was eventually that moment where it worked, walk me through your experience of that final boss and what it felt like to actually finish and beat your first game.
That's a really good question, because I have no comparative for that. That is the first experience I have had of that in my life. So it was interesting. I was fighting Gwyn, and he owned me for whatever. It took 3 separate visits for me in working with it and doing that. And I don't know how many hours, 8 hours, 8 hours to finally figure out what to do. And finally, when I did, I was pleased. I was proud of myself. Hey, I was able to implement the things that you'd taught me and about fighting Gwyn, because he was different than anybody else. And I would heal up right underneath his face.
Yeah.
And I had tried that with others. It was successfully, but it wasn't quite as obvious. And so I did that, and I did what you suggested. And Gwyn went down, and I just kept hitting him and watching my health. And when I needed to, I'd heal up and I'd hit him again and hit him again. And finally, he just stopped and he died. And I wasn't watching his health. I was watching mine. And I figured, when he's done, he's done.
Yes.
And he was. And so it took me by surprise that I got him.
Yep.
So I was pleased. I can't say I ran around and made a big deal about it. I was just kind of going, hey, wow, I did that. I did that with Aaron's help. That was me. You didn't really give me a whole lot of coaching in that final battle.
No.
You just kind of let me go at it, and I appreciated that. And so it felt like an accomplishment in my career. I would feel the same sort of sense of accomplishment when one of the customers I was working with went live on their accounting system. You realize that you really did something. So I felt like I had accomplished something that was really cool to do.
All right, and we're here. Dad has been wanting to share his passion project with the channel for a long time. So today I'm just going to do the good old hold a flashlight and get yelled at, just like old times.
Why did you decide or agree to do this?
To give it to you just straight and blunt is because I love you. I learned a long time ago that if you want to be close to somebody, you don't try to convince them to do something you want to do. You go do something they want to do. And you asked me to do it. I was very flattered. I never thought you would do such a thing, especially since I've been so anti-video games for so long.
Right.
I'm retired. I couldn't think of a good reason not to do it, so I said okay. And that's why I did it. That's why I continue to do it. You are the attraction, not the game. I did not really care to learn a bunch about video games.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn a bunch about you. And I've accomplished both.
I've enjoyed, obviously, immensely the opportunity to play with you. I mean, for me, I'm the youngest of 7, so Babe 2 and I are going to have potentially kids a little bit later. So there's a concern of how much time are we going to have? And if we live in Chicago, for our kids to interact with, Nana and Papa. But the fact that we have all of this stuff available to show them and be like, this is all the fun stuff that happened, that's meaningful.
I genuinely want to thank everyone that has watched and supported the channel throughout this playthrough. If you'd like to support us more directly, we do have YouTube memberships, Twitch subscriptions, and Patreon.
To see Dad's entire playthrough, check out this playlist here. I'm currently streaming with him, playing Elden Ring, streaming other games with Babe 2. There's all sorts of cool, fun stuff on the channel, so check it out. But as always, thanks for watching.
All right, Dad. What is this big hunk of metal that we're in front of?
This big hunk of metal with a little bit of rubber here and there is a 1950 Chevrolet. It's called a Fleetline Deluxe, built in 1950. And my wife's grandmother, your mother's grandmother, your great-grandmother was the original owner of this. And she bought it in August of 1950, I believe is the date. for about $1,500. This is the only car that she ever drove, the only car that she ever owned, and she gave it to your uncle, Scott, when he went on his mission, because he went on his mission. And so she gave it to him, and then he, after he got it, what am I going to do with this old car? I don't want it. And so he was going to sell it for $1,000.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law caught wind of it, and so she went down there, gave him the $1,000, took the car, and brought it back home. They drove it on the freeway all the way.
Yeah.
And it just sat there for years, like 2 or 3 or 4 years. Nobody did anything, and we came back here, moved back up from our home in Yuma, and we were living with them. And I said, "There's the green car. What are you doing with your green car?" "Oh, nothing. Nobody ever does anything with that car." So then I went over and started messing with it. I would make sure that it ran. I would drive it around. I actually ran out of gas in it a couple of times. But anyway, I showed an interest, so they gave it to me.
You've been repairing this thing for like 30 years.
Oh, yeah. But it didn't need much. I mean, it was in remarkable condition.
I think you said
the eye.
It didn't need much, and then we're looking at the most torn up car I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, this car had 75 years worth of total trash that had been building up on this frame, and I took a chisel, this one right here, and a hammer, and just literally had to chisel it off. It was gross. And I have pictures of me after I've worked, and I'm a mess.
Yeah.
And anyway, but I cleaned all this off, and I painted it black so that it'll look nice and not get rusted. And right now, this is the front. The engine would go right here. We have the new engine that we're going to put in it right across the street at my neighbor's house, who's going to help me put it in, but we've got that. And right now, we have the floors. If you look inside, you can see there's nothing. It just goes all the way back. And that means there's no floor in there. Remember the Fred Flintstone car? They would run with their feet. Well, you can do that in this car. Fred Flintstone got nothing on us. So anyway, I took the floors out because they were all rusted out. The trunk floor is out because it was all rusted out, and we're in the process of replacing those. And basically everything will be restored back as it was originally in 1950.
Your passion project.
Yeah. And I started it a year ago on June 1st, 2024 is when I first started it. And here it is, June 9th or something, 2025. I probably won't get it done until June 12th, 2026. I don't know.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, but it'll take a while. But it'll be able to run for another 75 years when I get it done. That's really cool. Anyway, that's what that undescribable hunk of metal is.